Hey, everybody, I hope you all are doing well and welcome back to Michael's Matters. Now, if you are new to the channel, let me introduce myself. I'm Michael. Hi, hello. And as it is getting to the end of the month, we are doing our June Social Security payout dates for folks who are on Social Security programs. So that could be Social Security Retirement, Social Security Disability SSDI, Social Security Survivors, as well as Supplemental Security Income SSI, and really all the other iterations of the program. But this month, it is a little bit less certain than usual when folks will get their money, and the reason being is because there is a debt ceiling fight where the Democrats and President Biden and Republicans, led by House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, are duking it out over raising the country's spending limit on the credit card, and also facing a June 1st run out of money date, which could leave some or most, or perhaps even all of the 68 million Social Security beneficiaries without their benefits checks on time, meaning that the average senior or a retiree or perhaps older American here in the United States will have a roughly $1,750.18 hole in their monthly budget. Today, we are going over the June 2023 Social Security payout dates with a bit of an asterisk and talking about what happens if the debt ceiling limit is hit and which Social Security beneficiaries may end up getting paid and which ones may have to end up waiting, perhaps even indefinitely. Now, this is Michael's Matters, and before we get to it, if you like these videos, if you find them interesting, if you find them helpful, or hey, even if you find them useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe because it does really help the channel to grow, and we are super thankful for that. But also, you get notifications when our newest and most informative videos become available. All right, now, let's get down to the video. All right, so first things first, let's get down to the payout schedule for the month of June. Of course, again, this is what it should be, assuming that the debt ceiling is not reached and there's no default. But if it is, then the schedule is probably going to look a whole lot more complicated. So we're going to start off with the most straightforward payouts, which is for folks who receive their Social Security benefits through the SSI program, or Supplemental Security Income. So for the month of June, they're actually going to end up getting two payouts. This means that the SSI benefits will be sent out first on Thursday, June 1st, for the month of June. Also, secondarily, they'll be sent out on Friday, June 30th, but for the month of July. So just to be clear, there will not be an SSI benefit check sent out for the month of July in July. Rather, it's sent out at the last day of June. Also, remember, if you are getting these benefits paid to you by direct deposit, even if they are sent out on Thursday, June 1st or Friday, June 30th, it can still take a little bit of time for your bank to process them. Or if they're getting mailed out to you, snail mail can take a couple extra days as well before it hits your mailbox. Next up is for folks who are getting both Social Security benefits as well as Supplemental Security benefits, or they started receiving their Social Security benefits prior to 1997 when Social Security changed the payout schedule days. For those folks, their Social Security benefits will get sent out on Friday, June 2nd. And in fact, this is the only time this year where these payout days is moved to the 2nd. And as usual, timeframes should be allowed for these benefits to end up showing up. All right, now these last couple ones are the ones that get a little bit tricky. These are payout dates for folks who are receiving Social Security benefits only, and they started receiving those benefits after 1997. The reason why they are a bit tricky is because the payout dates are done based on the time of the month that somebody was born. So, for example, if you were born on the 1st to the 10th of your birth month, then you will get your Social Security benefits on Wednesday, June the 14th. If you were born on the 11th through the 20th of the month, then you'll get your Social Security benefits sent out on Wednesday, June 21st. And lastly, for those folks who were born from the 21st of the month through the end of the month, then you will get your June Social Security benefits paid out on Wednesday, June 28th, at least in theory. So now that we are clear on the schedule, it is pretty obvious that where somebody falls on the payout calendar could have a pretty dramatic effect on whether or not they end up getting paid on time or delayed indefinitely if the debt ceiling fight comes to a fiscal cliff. What I mean by this is that there are two specific dates that have been floated around by Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and one of the largest banks in the country, Goldman Sachs, about when the country will actually run out of money. Because the reality is the debt ceiling has already been breached way back in January. But through some what we'll call accounting magic, or what Janet Yellen calls extraordinary measures, Secretary Yellen has been able to shuffle around money to keep all the country's bills paid, at least up to this point. But she is anticipating that those measures will no longer be able to work their magic as of June 1st. But the smart money, and when I say smart money, I'm referring to Goldman Sachs because they are smart money, they haven't estimated that it could last as long until June 8th. The reasons for this uncertainty, well, there's a lot of reasons, but one of the primary ones is because they are not sure how much money will come in from federal taxes from some of the biggest tax-paying states in the union, like here in California, where because of natural disasters previously, tax filing dates have been extended out to October. So a lot of folks still have a lot more time to pay. Also, there's the fact that much of the additional money that was sent out to families during the pandemic, like higher earned income tax credits and child tax credits and pandemic stimulus checks, all those things were cut and are not included in 2022 taxes. So it means that people got less money and thus are also paying less taxes. So either way, these things are bad news for the country's coffers, as it adds a whole lot more uncertainty to exactly how much money will be coming in and when it'll be coming in. Moreover, for folks on fixed benefits like Social Security, we know that dates are destiny. That's because they get paid out based on factors that really have nothing to do with their own choices, but are only paid out based on when they were born. And depending on that date, and depending on when the default could potentially happen, it's going to be a big difference between whether Social Security beneficiaries potentially get their next check on time or not. So, who is at the greatest risk of not getting paid? Well, it's going to depend on the date of the default. If the default date is on June 1st, it'd mean that only folks on Social Security Administration benefits who would get paid out on time would be those folks on Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, which is not ideal, sure, but better considering beneficiaries on these programs tend to be those who could do without the benefits least. Wait, reverse that. They're the folks who need the money most because they typically are the folks with the lowest access to resources. Usually that's why they're eligible for SSI. In the second scenario from Goldman Sachs, if the debt ceiling runs out on June 8th, the later prediction that is floating around out there, it would mean that benefits would get paid out to only those folks on SSI on Thursday, June the 1st, and also those Americans who are receiving both SSI and Social Security benefits, or who started receiving Social Security benefits prior to 1997, who would get those payments on June 2nd. Which again, in a Titanic-style women and children first kind of triage, these two groups are the folks who'd be hurt most overall on average by having payments delayed or cut off. So what does this mean for the rest of Social Security beneficiaries? Well, it depends. First is that everybody will get paid eventually. But if there is a default, payments would be delayed. They'd be delayed until the point where the federal government would have enough money coming in from taxes and other types of revenue to pay for the full benefits. Let's say those folks who should be getting paid on Wednesday, June the 14th, if there isn't enough money in the coffers to pay it out, the federal government may wait until a later date, let's say June 19th, before they can send those out. And that would continue throughout the month or throughout the time frame until an agreement on the debt ceiling could be had and it gets raised and all the payments get caught up. Now, one convenience of the calendar of June, and it seems to be coincidental, is that for the month of June, there is a full week of benefits that are not required payout. So from June 4th to June 11th. So this would give the feds a little bit of wiggle room and a bit of extra time if June 8th was the default date to save money up and be able to possibly pay out some of those subsequent Social Security payments on time. SSI on the 30th would start to be at risk. So overall, it seems like we're really getting to the point in the debt ceiling fight where the rubber is starting to meet the road. We see that Speaker McCarthy and President Biden are meeting almost daily at this point to try to pass this impasse. But it's not looking good. And the only thing that they have going for them is history on their side, because as of yet, we have never defaulted on our debt. And despite who authorized the debt or acquired the debt, it is ultimately our debt, all of ours as Americans. The other good thing is that if a default does happen, Social Security beneficiaries will be made whole eventually, but it's going to be painful. This is especially the case for seniors and older Americans and retirees who have no other choice but to live benefit check to benefit check. For these folks, even the delay of a couple days or a month would be a catastrophic event for their personal finances, for their personal credit, and could leave them in a situation where they're not able to even support themselves anymore. So my hope and my belief is that this will likely get resolved, even if it is the last minute and both sides get to claim they are the heroes. But that way we can get back to normal life and start to focus on the even bigger looming issues like, how to fix the Social Security program overall so that it is solvent for our older friends, our older family members, and our older neighbors, but also, to make sure that it's there for us younger generations as well. All right, so that's it for today's Michael's Matters, and I really hope that you enjoyed this video, or at least found it interesting, or maybe even helpful. And if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe because it is really helping the channel to grow. and we're super thankful for that. But also, you can get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. So, for Michael's Matters, I'm Michael, hoping that you take care of yourselves, take care of others, and have a happy, healthy